Hey there, folks. Let me tell you about Tom and Buddy. Tom's just your average guy. You know, the kind who puts his pants on one leg at a time. But Buddy, oh boy, Buddy's something else. He's a dog, but not just any dog. This furry friend can talk. I know, right? It's like something out of a movie. Tom found Buddy at the shelter. He was looking for a companion, maybe someone to share his popcorn with during movie nights, but he got way more than he bargained for. The first time Buddy spoke, Tom nearly fell off his chair. From that day on, Tom and Buddy were inseparable. They did everything together. Grocery shopping? Buddy was there to remind Tom not to forget the dog treats. Watching TV? Buddy always had a witty comment about the latest reality show. Little did they know that break was just around the corner. One day, Tom was flipping through the local newspaper. He was looking for job ads, anything to help pay for Buddy's premium kibble habit. That's when he saw it, an ad that made his eyes pop out like a cartoon character. The ad read, "Local radio station seeking unique talent. Must have a voice that stands out from the crowd. No experience necessary. Ability to work well with others a must." Tom's brain started spinning faster than a hamster wheel. A unique voice? Well, he had that sitting right next to him, munching on a chew toy.
Buddy, Tom said, how would you like to be on the radio? Radio? He barked. Does it come with treats?
And just like that, Operation Radio Star was born. The big day arrived faster than you can say Scooby-Doo. Tom woke up early, his stomach doing more flips than an Olympic gymnast. He put on his best shirt, you know, the one without the pizza stains. Buddy, on the other hand, was cool as a cucumber. They hopped into Tom's old car. It was the kind that made more noises than Buddy did on a squirrel chasing day. As they drove, Tom gave Buddy a pep talk.
Remember, Buddy, be yourself. But maybe don't mention your obsession with the mailman. Got it. No mailman talk. But can I mention my theories on why cats are actually alien spies?
The radio station loomed ahead. It wasn't exactly a skyscraper, more like a brick building that had seen better days. But to Tom and Buddy, it might as well have been Hollywood. They parked the car, both taking deep breaths.
Ready, pal? Tom asked. Ready as I'll ever be. Let's knock their socks off. And then maybe chew on those socks a little.
As they walked towards the entrance, Tom couldn't help but chuckle. Here he was, about to present a talking dog to a radio station. With one last deep breath, Tom pushed open the door. Tom and Buddy stepped into the radio station. The receptionist looked up, her eyes widening at the sight of a man and his dog.
"We're here for the job interview," Tom said, trying to sound confident. "Both of you?" she asked.
That's right, sweetheart. We're a package deal.
The poor woman nearly fell out of her chair. After a moment of stunned silence, she directed them to Mr. Johnson's office. As they walked down the hallway, Tom whispered to Buddy,
Maybe let me do the talking at first, okay? Fine, but if he asks about my experience in radio, I'm telling him about my stint as a howling champion. That's practically a cappella, right?
They reached Mr. Johnson's office. Tom knocked, his knuckles barely making a sound.
Come in.
Tom pushed open the door, revealing a small office cluttered with radio equipment and old vinyl records. And there, behind a desk that had seen better days, sat Mr. Johnson. He looked like he had just bitten into a lemon.
I don't recall the ad mentioning anything about pets, he said, his voice dripping with skepticism.
Tom gulped. This was it, the moment of truth.
Actually, sir, Buddy said, his tail wagging, I'm here for the job interview. This human is just my chauffeur.
The look on Mr. Johnson's face was priceless. It was a mix of shock, disbelief, and I must have had too much coffee this morning. Mr. Johnson's jaw dropped so low it nearly hit his desk.
Did that dog just talk?
Not only can I talk, but I can also do a mean cha-cha. Yes, sir. This is Buddy, and he's here for the job interview. I know it's unusual, but isn't that what you're looking for? Unique talent.
Well, I'll be darned. A talking dog. Now I've seen everything.
Sir, I know I'm not your typical job applicant, but let me ask you this. How many of your current employees can lick their own nose?
Mr. Johnson couldn't help but chuckle at that. The ice was beginning to thaw.
All right, I'll bite. Let's see what you've got, buddy.
And with that, the most unusual job interview in the history of radio, and possibly the world, began. Tom sat back, a mix of nerves and pride swirling in his stomach. This was Buddy's time to shine, and boy, was he ready to dazzle. Mr. Johnson cleared his throat, still looking like he couldn't believe what was happening.
Okay, buddy. Let's start with something simple. Why do you want this job?
Well, sir, I've always been a fan of radio. It's like television, but with better pictures, if you know what I mean. Plus, I think it's time the airwaves had a fresh perspective, from about 2 feet off the ground.
Interesting. And what kind of show would you like to host?
I was thinking Pause for Thought, a show where I discuss the important issues of the day, like why squirrels always seem to be in such a hurry, or the philosophical implications of belly rubs.
Mr. Johnson actually laughed out loud at that.
All right, buddy. You've got my attention. But running a radio show isn't just about being funny. You need to be quick on your feet. Or pause in your case. How are you with impromptu speaking?
Sir, I once gave a 20-minute monologue on why the mailman is secretly a superhero. Trust me, I can talk about anything.
Okay, Hotshot, let's say you're on air and we open up the phone lines. A caller asks for advice on their love life. What do you say?
Well, I'd tell them that love is like a game of fetch. Sometimes you have to run after it, sometimes it comes to you, and sometimes it ends up under the couch and you can't reach it.
Tom had to stifle a laugh. Mr. Johnson, on the other hand, looked impressed.
Not bad. How about current events? Can you comment on those?
Absolutely. Take the recent debate about climate change. I think we need to take a leaf out of a dog's book. We're experts at recycling. I mean, have you seen how many times we can use the same chew toy?
Interesting perspective, but what about more serious topics? Can you handle those?
Of course. Take the issue of homelessness. As someone who was once in a shelter, I can speak from experience. Everyone deserves a forever home, whether they have 2 legs or 4.
I have to say, buddy, you're full of surprises. One last question. How would you sign off your show each day?
That's easy. I'd say, "This is Buddy reminding you to always wag more and bark less. Stay possum, listeners."
Mr. Johnson sat back in his chair, shaking his head in disbelief.
Well, I'll be doggone. In all my years in radio, I've never seen anything quite like this. Buddy, you've got wit, charm, and a unique perspective. Plus, you've got a voice that's, well, let's just say it's unforgettable. But there's just one problem.
What's that, sir?
The problem is, I don't know how we're going to fit all your fan mail into the mailroom.
Tom and Buddy exchanged shocked glances. Was this really happening?
And congratulations, buddy. Welcome to Woof Radio. I think you're going to be a howling success.
Oh boy, oh boy. I promise you won't regret this, sir. I'll be the best darn radio host this side of the fire hydrant.
Tom couldn't believe it. They'd done it. Buddy had actually landed the job. As Buddy munched happily on his congratulatory dog biscuit, Mr. Johnson turned to Tom.
Now, as for you.
Tom gulped. He hadn't really thought about what would happen to him in all this. Would he just be Buddy's chauffeur from now on? But Mr. Johnson surprised him.
We can't have Buddy here without his trusty sidekick, can we?
Sidekick?
Of course. Every great radio show needs a dynamic duo. Buddy here is clearly the star, but he needs someone to play off of. Someone to be the straight man to his, well, dog.
Tom's jaw dropped. Was he being offered a job too?
But I don't know anything about radio. Come on, Tom. We're a package deal, remember? Plus, who else is going to translate my barks when I get too excited?
Exactly. You two have a chemistry that can't be faked. So what do you say? Ready to join the Woof Radio family?
Tom looked from Mr. Johnson to Buddy and back again. A slow smile spread across his face.
Well, I guess someone needs to make sure this furball doesn't get too big for his collar. Hey?
But his wagging tail gave away his joy. And just like that, Tom and Buddy became the newest and certainly the most unusual additions to Woof Radio. From that day on, Tom and Buddy's lives were never the same. Their show, Pause for Thought with Buddy and Tom, became an overnight sensation. People couldn't get enough of the witty banter between man and dog. Buddy's unique take on current events had listeners howling with laughter, while Tom's attempts to keep him on track added just the right amount of chaos. They tackled all sorts of topics. From the serious, is the local park's "no dogs allowed" sign a violation of canine rights? To the silly, top 10 reasons why cats are secretly plotting world domination. Buddy's fan mail poured in by the truckload. People sent him everything from gourmet dog treats to hand-knitted sweaters.